So last session, you guys had made your way through the Titan Steps, the giant pit that traveled down to the Deeplands, part of the Underdark. Making your way through by flying from various means, you guys managed to come to what looked like a elven ruin, which most of you had seen previous while you were in the Emerald Sea. While approaching, you heard some conflict inside, whereupon you basically ambushed an ambush, coming to the rescue of Arkandar, the wizard. Not really sure.
The douchebag.
He has various names, yes, as well as the apparent druid companion of his, Sachiko, from the Doral that seem to have found them, slewing most of them, but making sure that one of them survived, which you've now taken pretty much prisoner. He's currently not chained up, but he seemed to have surrendered to the amount of power that's at your guys' disposal. After the fight had finished, you were led downstairs after getting rid of any evidence, or at least most of it. You were led down a set of stairs into what seemed to be the cellar or some type of storage room of this, whatever this used to be, which is a decently sized chamber. It actually reminds you guys very similarly of the Elven Temple that you also found in the Emerald Sea, with a single pedestal which is completely demolished at this point. But there is a single pedestal in the center of the room which does remind you of what you had found in the previous one, which had the bowl. But all of you are taking a short rest or a long rest here?
I think we
short rest, because we've only been awake for a few hours.
Yeah. Been awake for like what? Not even 3 hours now, haven't they?
Yeah. Okay. So you're just going to take a short rest. So yeah, that's totally fine for an hour. That you all can start spending hit dice. Is anyone going to do watch? Rose going to be keeping an eye out up top, as well as probably Booker as well.
Savant is gonna do watch, I think.
Okay, sure.
Oh Jesus, bad shit happens when Savant and Saren volunteer for watch.
No. Not again.
What? Sure.
Leon's just gonna do his crotch
I'm just
rummaging
wondering,
in the
what is track record for like Savant and Saren? I think it's 3 for 4 major battles.
Yeah, something like that. One of them being a demon ripping open a portal right in front of us. That was my favorite, personally.
I think we did
All right.
decently.
Anyway, sorry. Yes, I'm taking a portal. A portal? Yeah, taking watch as well.
You are making a portal. Excellent. So yeah, those that need to spend hit dice, Savant, if you're taking watch, give me a perception check, just to see if you notice anything while you're doing your hour watch. Anything else people are going to do while they're taking this rest? You can't do anything too crazy, but you can do some small stuff.
Yeah, Shield of Faith thing, I want to try.
Mm-hmm. That's no problem because you're using it from the ring, so you can totally do that.
No, I will be casting it as my...
Oh, you're actually going to cast it as the spell. Okay, sure. So you can only do it once, but you can do that.
Yeah.
Sure. Actually, when you do that, give me an Arcana check.
What check, sorry?
A D20 roll plus what's your modifier? Probably wisdom.
I didn't hear which word it was. Sorry.
With wisdom.
You cut out from it. Wisdom.
So just do a wisdom check.
Wisdom, sorry. Just
Yeah.
wisdom check. So I press that, and that does it, right?
It should do 7. Okay.
Wow. That was.
Yeah. You focus the energy around the two braces that you have. They do very faintly give off a glow for a couple seconds, but it doesn't seem to be actually collating into them. There is still the runage being marked into the gauntlets themselves, not gauntlets, braces. But but there doesn't seem to be any essence that's attaching to it. At least for the time being. Anything else people are going to do while they're taking the short rest? Seraphina, did you roll your hit dice?
I did last session.
Oh, you did last session. Okay. Actually, I think some of you might have anyway.
I rolled 6 dice.
Alright.
Yeah, I rolled at the end of the session rather than now, but yeah. That does remind me though, Seraphina, do you still have the shield thing? The shield brooch?
Yes.
Why did you not use that when the thing tried to hit you?
It would not have. It was too high.
Oh, was it too
Yeah.
high? Okay, fair enough.
It was 20 something, and I can max get to 20. So it did.
Okay.
It was a nat 20. That is why it hit me.
There was that as well. I rolled many a 20. So as you guys are resting, Savant, where have you planted yourself?
If I was allowed, the same place I was last time, up on a wall.
You're actually going to go over to that wall? Okay, sure. Are you going to go on top of it, or are you just going to kind of...
On top of it.
On top of it, okay, sure. So on top of it, you can't really hide yourself very much, but as you're looking around, you have a pretty high viewpoint on most of the surrounding area. There's multiple stalactites and stalagmites, which kind of block some of your view from the area, because this cavern isn't very much an open area. It's very much multiple caverns that have collapsed together to form a complex together. But there is this large open one in the center, which is what this ruin is part of, as well as what the forest you can see in the distance is incorporated inside of. From your viewpoint specifically, though, you're kind of surveying the land in all the directions. To the, well, from what you can tell could be the north, because there's no sun to go by. But as, yeah, I'm going to go north from the map that you guys currently have. From the northern direction, which seems to be the direction the drow was pointing of where they came from, you do see what looks like some type of gateway. You can't really tell too much about it. You can just see in this kind of cavern wall, it kind of shrinks down to about 30 foot, and then seems to focus down onto a singular point, which seems to also have a wall built around it, almost like a fortification. And you can't really see much about it apart from there is this fortification over in the distance. There doesn't seem to be any movement in the area, especially from whatever this convoy was. You don't see anything else. You do see flying creatures every now and then. Nothing close enough for you to really identify. Some of them do seem similar to the ones you've seen, though, like the large cloaker, with its large mantle-like wings, as well as a few of the insectoid-like creatures. As you hear the kind of zzz, zzz, and just buzzing up in the dark carapace of the top. Canopy at the top. And then the looming kind of fog or spore cloud that seems to be covering the forest. You can just watch it kind of billowing up and down, and just almost like a cloud seems to be shifting within the forest itself. You're inside a giant bug. With the hour finished, you guys gain whatever you gain from a short rest. You guys should know by now. And what are you guys going to do?
Basically everything for me. So
Basically, almost everything, yeah. So, what are you guys going to do now that you're
everything
rested?
except for breath weapon, I think.
I think even your breath... No, your breath is long rest.
Breath weapon's long rest, I think, yeah.
It says on your character sheet. So, yes.
Yeah.
Argon, who was looking pretty bad, is now a lot better than he previously was. He's still not got his chest plate on because that was ripped and completely torn apart. But he's looking healthier. The wounds have now been sealed. Sechika looks completely normal as she did previous. As she didn't actually get attacked in her non-giant snake form. And during the hour, they seem to be conversating with some of the other people, especially Janga, who had gone to speak to them. And Aaron, you caught parts of it. It seemed to be they were talking about where they should try and plant a post down here in preparation. But nothing too crazy. And they seem to have gone up top just to see if there is anything movement. What they're actually going to do.
Savanta's going to report what he saw. Mostly about... well, he goes up the group. Well, the hours were pretty calm, but up in, as it points in a northern direction. There is definitely... what do you say?
The fortification?
Yeah, no, he was mumbling to himself. I know what the word was.
Oh.
Acting. Yes, fortification, something like an arc in the wall. Can't be bigger at the main point, like 30 feet in diameter, sort of way. I can show someone if we get a bit thing, but it doesn't seem like anyone particularly is there. Not what I can see with movement, but it just could be that they saw me and they didn't move, something like that. So I wouldn't say God's down, but yeah, it's definitely worth checking. It's in the same direction we should be going, and seems mysterious.
From what I've seen, that's definitely the entrance to the drow colonies in this area. I believe that's where our convoy here came from. I don't think...
What did you say the name of it was? Was that the Knights whatnot? Something
Embrace.
about Knights?
Yeah.
Knights Embrace, that's the one.
Yes.
Right. And there was the other one was something about a moon or a lake or something?
Yeah, Moon Lake. That's one of the colonies.
And that was
Yes.
that was the
Friendly
Umberlee one.
Yes, what...
Was it Umberlee, right?
no, Elestri, I believe they called it.
Elestri, that's right. That's right, Umberlee. Nasty god of the sea, that's right.
I'm curious about this. Friendly drow.
You see, it was Lilith at the fortress, right? It was the spidery Lilith people.
Are you asking me or...
It's talking about love.
The accent, I don't know. Yeah, sorry. Just to remind you from last week.
Love.
Midnight's Embrace was the Love. I keep saying Lilith. Right?
Mm-hmm.
The Love place and Moonlight was Alistair.
Yes. From
Right.
what this drow has told you, yes. These are the two places.
Okay.
One that he came from and one that he's apparently going to repent and go to.
If I remember what we discussed like an hour ago, which feels like a week, it was a long rest. We were searching for the log thing.
What our drow
Log.
friend called the Misting Moor, yes.
That's it, Mr. Moore, that's it.
Where they seem to have been taking these remains, or
And
creatures.
That's the opposite direction from the settlement. Then.
Correct. And this would be, I believe...
Worst case scenario,
Hmm.
if we don't find anything at this moor, then go back and down the door of Midnight and Breeze, or Lights and Breeze, or whatever it's called.
Well, I suggest some type of scouts and go there. If you go too far, you probably cause some amount of attention. A large number of people here is definitely abnormal.
Fine. Were you gonna pretend to be delivering the convoy as a cover?
If you can disguise yourselves as drow, and I'm sorry to say this, but you don't look like a drow to me, unfortunately. Boop boop.
Boop boop.
I mean, you'd be surprised about how people who don't look like drow can actually turn out to look like drow. It's surprising.
Well, another question that may be better. How do the drow work with the deep gnomes? I don't know how they look like, but I expect them to look sort of like me.
I have actually not seen any down here. I've only been down here for a few, well, I think a day now. We did rest once, so maybe more. I actually cannot keep track of time down here. It's quite frustrating, actually.
Well, just do like us. Keep count how many times you rest. That's how many days. Times are weird.
Been down here.
But anyway, I expect deep gnomes to be rare, well, to some degree. But do we know if they work with the drow? If so, I could help out anyone that should be infiltrating. It's more likely that not only one person would be there, or something like that.
If we were to find these deep gnomes, I believe they could be at least helpful in comparison to the drow. They're a little bit more welcoming, I think, to outsiders. And, well, we can figure out what to do when we actually find them. The world down here is very complex. Not as complex as up on the surface, but the drow, Durgar, and the deep gnomes have a we could say strenuous relationship with each other. Animosity, yes. Bring in these illithid. It's more of a Cold War.
Well,
Perhaps the prudent question at this point, Arcantile, Hogstrad, you guys, you came down here on purpose.
Yes.
What were you planning to do once you united with each other, and what would you do at this point?
Right. My purpose here, Booker, was to investigate what is going on here. There's definitely some strange workings with magic as well as the planes. And with what we saw of the ley line, I definitely believe that is true, which means I've got a lot of work to do in terms of figuring out where it's coming from or where it's going.
Wait, what do you mean, like, is that ley line not normally there? Is that, like, weird?
It's blown a hole through the Titan steps. That's very odd.
Right, okay. I just assumed it was, like, a thing that was always there.
I don't believe whoever built the steps would purposely build it around a ley line. That seems very odd.
Well, also, from the
I
script I saw, it seems a bit, yeah.
Well, considering there had to have been magic in its creation and the way it's... You have
That-
to bring a lot of magic to bear to create something that large. Is it
Yes.
unheard of that it might have been? Maybe the creators tapped into the ley line.
That's not terribly impossible. It just
But
means
probably
it's
there are easy ways.
moved, which is, I think, my problem.
Question. Can,
See, me personally,
can Savant,
Huh?
can Savant make an intelligence check about where giants came from?
Giants came from. Sure. Eli, what are you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, like, from my perspective, I tend not to think of things as weird anymore because, like, dwarves don't have muffins, and, like, I mean, come on, right? The whole
Well.
world is crazy, so nothing surprises me anymore.
Would you roll 10? Oh gosh.
At advantage.
At advantage as well, yeah. 10. You know there's several variations of giants, and you know there's a hierarchy of giants. You know that there's various theories, like all races, there are theories of where they came from. The most standing one is the Allfather. The main god of giants. There isn't much really known about him specifically because you can't really ask giants. Is there a lot? No, there. Oh my gosh. That's really about it in terms of actual knowledge. You would have to speak with a giant to really get anything substantial, or find specific books on giants. That's.
Okay. My current information is not good enough.
Where they came from, at least. Would. Yeah. No.
Well, from what I know, at least, from what I read on the Titan steps, is that at least they are interested and do know about the hierarchy of giants, and they have spoken about cloud giants and about hill giants later down. The hill giants were by the world node, and I don't expect them to thrown in a piece of history right into something to float around there forever. Not definitely if it was only about hill giants. Were something about bigger cloud giants and up above, then I would maybe understand it, but no.
Ro, who's
I
currently.
have a stupid question.
Oh.
So, there's drow, obviously.
Yes,
And
there is a lot of drow.
What were there's like the dwarves down here, the Durgar?
They're usually known as dark dwarves or
Dark
Duragar.
dwarves, right. So there's deep gnomes, dark dwarves, dark elves. Are there like deep or dark giants?
There are. There are various creations of the Underdark. Being down here for too long changes a lot of creatures, so it is not unlikely.
Right.
And from what you've already seen, I believe it's possible there are specific giants that belong down here now, that work with the Illithid.
Right. And bro, you saw the abominations with the
Yes.
aggressive hemorrhoids that were attacking. Is that like the thing that the Underdark does, or is that some kind of like that's like
I
unnatural
don't think it
intervention,
is.
right?
Originally, the
But
Underdark
that's
was
more
just
like the squiddly face priestesses, right?
correct. Generally, the Underdark originally was just a dark subterranean landscape, very much like the surface, just without light. It was hostile, but not as bad as what it is now. The Illithid shifting things and the planes be more erratic down here. I think it's safe to say they're the cause. Which is why I don't think any of our knowledge is going to be normal anymore. Which means investigation is going to be our first priority. As I've spoken to Arkantel, we're going to have to make some type of outpost down here. Begin our investigations before we do anything drastic.
Do that include carpentry, or like what type of outpost are we talking about?
She's leaning on the wall and she kind of just taps it. This is strong enough for the time being.
So fortify this cave.
I think this is a good place. It's elven in design. The walls are very interesting, and there's definitely some sacredness of this place still in effect, and I think we could strengthen it once again over time, and with some help from myself and Sechiko, possibly even Aaron, you could assist as well. We can make this definitely a safe haven for the time being. Also, I'm interested in what's down here.
Sorry, could you just quickly catch up on what happened, because my internet cut out. So I didn't actually hear any of what Ro told me.
Ro was just saying, oh gosh, that it seems generally the Underdark was a normal place, it's just subterranean and dark, but with the Illithid and the unstableness of the planes down here, something has been shifting the creatures into becoming more unstable and more mutated. And
right, so it seems like the plain weirdness is what's causing the abominations, as opposed to like some Dr. Frankenstein.
Possibly both, which is where both Ro and Arkantel said investigation is required.
Also,
who is Igor? Because both Mimsa and Dee keep referring to Igor, and I have no clue what's going on.
Igor is my cell phone. He's legendary for autocorrect mistyping, so now everybody started calling their keyboards, cell phones, laptops, computers Igor, so...
well, you say
I've never heard that one.
Igor.
Because Persona 4 was so different.
And he's eating words too.
What?
Yeah.
I don't...
Or entire sentences, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, fuck up your sentences.
I completely misread that as loverarchy, and I was like, isn't that more Aaron's thing?
Nice.
Also, they want to fortify the Elven Ruin.
Strengthen it.
This ruin here, okay.
Yes.
Is that anything to do with the dropping a post that Aaron overheard?
The dropping of...
Aaron overheard something and you said something about... I see you mean outpost, okay.
Oh, the outpost, yes. And Arkantel was wondering if Aaron would be able to help them in strengthening the magics of some type of sanctuary or something. As a safe haven.
If Savant was able to see a dwarven fortress from up on a wall, is this not like maybe a wee bit close for an outpost? I mean, are we going to be able to hold it against a fortress full of drow if they decide to stuff?
Looks back at Ethan, have you come up top with the prisoner?
What'd you say?
Have you come up top with the prisoner?
No, I'm still downstairs gardening.
Okay. In that case then, yeah. I think our prisoner would be able to assist us with that. He would know if there's anything nearby.
Well, I can certainly do some more physical fortification if it's needed.
I don't think we want to make anything too obvious while we're here.
Well, that's my concern, because like if we can see them from here, can they not see us from there? In which case, if we do anything here, are they not gonna? Are we not risking drawing attention to ourselves? I think at this point, it's stealth, not our better asset.
Stealth in what way?
Well,
Well,
not being
for starters, not
detected,
attracting attention to ourselves. Yeah.
Well,
I
that
mean,
is why
well-
we're not going to fortify it, just strengthen the magics of this place.
Will they not notice that?
Unless
I'm
they
not-
come
I'm not
close, they would not.
I'm not. Well, aye, but they saw you here when they were taking the shipment.
That is
to the
mainly
place.
my fault. I started up some lights, which brought their attention. I was investigating the ruins, and he points over towards the main kind of temple structure that you guys have already seen previous in the forest, with the runes across the floor, and the central, the far side, the kind of concave hemicircle. There's something interesting about this place. It definitely seems to have some connection to magic, specifically all magics. It's very interesting. I got a little too interested into it all, and I needed better light, so I lit the place up, and that's what got their attention.
Ulan wasn't paying attention to any of that detail. He just realised that Arkantar got attacked because of his own stupid fault, and it's Christmas for Ulan right now.
Just as a clarification question, is people discussing upstairs or downstairs?
Currently everyone's by the stairs, so not in the main area.
Aye.
They've gone down the steps towards the spiral staircase.
Alrighty.
But we're not in the basement bit where the prisoner is.
No.
Right. Okay. I think that's what she was asking.
Okay.
I just wanted a general idea of where people were.
Yeah. So currently, Ithamore is downstairs with the prisoner, unless anyone else is. Pretty much everyone from the
I think right
Ashen
now
table at
we're
this point.
here, basically, Mimsa. If you can see the dancing
Yep.
blue arrow. Yeah.
Well, at least let me at least halfway down the stairs do something to, I don't know, put up a improvised door or something. At least some physical stuff to think
Well,
myself
when-
saver.
When you say setting up an outpost here,
Yes.
why would we do that?
Because we don't want
Why
to.
were you-
This is a very interesting place in both a standpoint of history as well as what once was here. And
But what I mean is, like, are people going to be staying here? Are more people going to be coming, or are we not all leaving to go somewhere else?
it's a place to start from. We have
Well,
many
are we
directions to
actually-
travel.
But are we actually going to be here for any amount of time? Like, do we actually need to spend time and magical energy fortifying a place now, or do we do that if we come back?
We're still waiting on one more person.
Okay.
Guide. She knows where we are, and it's better if there's a secure place for when she arrives. And with the amount of directions we have, it is better to have somewhere central. And this is as good as any. We have the
So
Drow
can we-
to the north, we have the forest to our south, and this misting moor, which is apparently in that direction.
So do we need to wait for this guy to arrive before we act?
We can begin the investigation.
Because my concern is that that shipment was supposed to arrive at the Misting Moor,
Mm.
and there's only so long that they'll wait before it's noticed and start backtracking its course. And if they noticed you and your lights just as they were casually wandering past, do we want to be sitting ducks here when they try to figure out what's happened to the missing shipment?
Considering these are drow, and they're not normal drow, we know that. They're some type of converted drow. We can at least expect not many of them have changed sides.
Right.
So I don't expect a large number to come looking for where their shipment has gone. But you're right, we should look at this drop-off point.
Well, my that isn't that an awful big assumption? Because like we know the shipment came from Knights and Priests to the Misting Moor. We don't know if the entirety of Knights and Priests is involved. We don't know what is waiting for them at the Misting Moor. So we can't assume that not many are involved. It could be the entire friggin' race of Drow for all we know.
That would be very bad.
From our personal experience, there is some kind of connection to what brought us to this continent in the first place, and what brought us was a group of Drow traveling all the way to Valin,
To King's Arch, no less.
to King's Arch. That does not, to me, seem like a small, insignificant thing. If they have
To
that
capture
kind
your
of
friend, I
those kind-
believe.
Aye, and if they have those kind of resources and that kind of determination, this is not like a small thing, and we can't assume. We can't have the arrogance to think that this is an easy thing for us to deal with. We have to assume the worst.
Do we know they're connected, though?
It seems to be, because
If we,
the
you said
there
Loaf was
definitely-
involved.
There was definitely a connection between our friend's abduction
Mm.
and what we encountered in the Tig.
Mm.
And
That's true.
in the Tig, we encountered these weird, squiddly faced Drow priestess ladies. So clearly there is a connection there. So in some way or fashion. They both mentioned a harbinger, which, as we understand it, is some kind of like harbinger of Lolth, maybe. Or at
Yes.
least the one that we dealt with was a harbinger of Lolth. I mean, I suppose the word could mean anything, but you know, there's definitely a connection there, and because the squiddly faced things were there, that connects them and Lolth to the Illithids
The problem being,
and to the attack on the Mirrorforge. So this is a
The-
big thing. This isn't just some like Drow being weird. This is giants and Illithids and Lolth. This is like
Oh
there's
my.
a damn it, D. There's a friggin' there's a friggin' goddess with avatars that explode into tidal waves of spiders involved in this. This
Oh,
is not
God.
minor league shit.
Yeah.
So the attack, the entire attack on the Tig, the conflict that the dwarves have been heavily invested in is connected to this. This is continent spanning.
it is large. The problem I'm having is, why would Loaf take the assistance of these Illithid? It makes no sense for her. She is a jealous deity. She is not one to take assistance from mortals.
I don't know, but did you not suspect that this was connected to
He might be using them.
the incident in King's Arch with the portals opening and the weird energy field and the bubbly things? I mean, this is like not necessarily just continent spanning, it's spanning planes at this point. It's secret orders and, you know, religious cults, and this is big. And if even if we don't understand the connection between the Illithids and Lolth, even if it doesn't make sense for them to be working together, clearly they are in some capacity both involved in this, and we cannot underestimate. We cannot be lacking in due care and attention. We cannot be arrogant and making stupid mistakes that get us attacked in the middle of temples. And we can't, from our perspective, the portal in King's Arch was opened by a person. Well, it was opened by a person we considered not a threat because of a former ally and a secret that they were carrying. This is that we can't afford to be naive and trusting. We have to be paranoid. That's the only way we will survive this and solve this.
That is why I'm waiting for our guide. The Oracle would definitely have some answers for us. Which is why we can't move too... Yes. The one that sent us down here in the first place. The one that's been able to give us guidance in what is happening. Hopefully she'll have some answers.
She's not a redhead in a wheelchair by any chance, is she?
No, Jace. No, she's not.
Okay. So you were sent down here by an oracle?
Correct.
As in, like, seeing the future...
Of
messages
sorts.
For prophecies from the gods type oracle?
I have no idea where she gains her information from, but from the last couple years it has always been true. Either it's from the world itself, nature, God, the future. We do not know. But she is the leader of
And this is
Order.
normal?
We live in a world of magic. Many things are
But no,
abnormal.
I mean like you getting sent places by
Oh, yes.
an oracle is like normal for you guys, right?
Not in this
is
larger
your-
number,
your-
though.
your- what was it called? Like the wooden table, was it you were called?
This is the Ashen Table.
Ashen table. That was it. I knew it was something like that. And you like this is what you do?
This is a part-time thing. But none of us have been called this
What is,
much. Usually it's one or two of us, not 5 of us. This is abnormal. So yes, it is strange.
what are Hawkstrad and Sherwood doing at the minute?
Hawkstrad is just listening to a conversation. Sherwood is sitting on a rock.
Sorry, can you say that again? I think my internet is being shit and keeps cutting out.
Booker is just standing listening to the conversation to you guys. Sherwood is a little bit off to the
Okay.
side, sitting on a rock.
Can I insight check both of them to see
Okay.
what their disposition is? Like, are they kind of like completely at ease, as if this is like an everyday thing, or
Yeah.
Sunday
give me-
trip.
It's not too hard. You can
Yeah.
give me a roll. It's easy to see from Sherwood. Sherwood is very out of place at this point. She looked fine when you saw her one in the temple and coming down the Titan step, but now her disposition has changed very much into an obvious sense of uncomfort in where she is, and it definitely seemed when you first saw her with Hawkstrad. she was definitely more of an assistant, not a partner. Hawkstrad, however,
Okay.
is very much. He has an eagerness, which is very odd being down here.
He's Hawkeye. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's.
Okay, so he's like loving the adventure and the mystery and stuff.
It definitely seems to be his thing. Yes.
Because he seems to be very curious, like, and fascinated, sort of thing.
He's very much fascinated with Arcane from what you've seen.
Okay.
Or specifically, seems to be these light lines.
What's Sherwood's first name again?
Daniela.
Daniela, that's it. Daniela, when we encountered you before, was that Ashen Table business?
No, that as she kind of still sitting on the rock with her hands together. That was more business from up north. There had been concerns from some of the other counts as well, and as business as one of the families under the Lord, Booker's father, I was assisting in some business. The cult that I met you with is one of them.
Wait. Did she just say the Lord Booker's father?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna give him a look of, like, mild surprise.
I did tell you.
Like, because... Oh, did he?
Yeah, he's the second son.
When did he tell us that?
He told you in the temple.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Booker Hawkstrad, second
Fair enough.
second son
Oh,
of Lord Hawkstrad.
Then I don't look at him surprised, because I would have remembered that.
You would have. You're like, oh, yes.
Right. So, I, like, between... do you all go about your business and then the Ashen Table sends you a messaging spell or whatever and, like, shines a beacon in the sky and you all congregate? Or, like...
We get a message from the Oracle. Or a letter from one of the others if there is a problem that we need to address. We all have our specialties.
And you're all from across everywhere, or are you, like, from Berlin, or...
We keep an open mind for those who have different qualities. Junga, for example, is very good at scouting. Unfortunately, he got caught in one of them. Didn't you? Yes, I did. As you've seen from Booker, he is one who's very good at dealing with obscure magical issues. Mine are more of the planes and the creatures that come through them. Roe specifically is dealing with Griffin as well as the Underdark. Cavernous problems. She has a connection with some of the Goliaths of the area as well, which give her some extra visibility of the situation. We have several other members throughout Berlin, as well as across to the east. And let's just make sure there isn't anything too big that we miss.
So, your scope, like, your jurisdiction is, like, the entire world? The entire cosmos? So what?
Most of the civilized world, yes.
Alright, and when you see your particular interest Arcantile, your specialty is stuff concerning other planes.
Planar, yes. Those
Oh,
of the
that's-
inner and the outer planes.
That's interesting. And Ulan tries to act cool and casual and does not look at Seraphina at all.
As the first apprentice, I have a lot of things I need to remember about. The planes are ones that keep my interest.
First apprentice?
Yes, first apprentice of the Arcane College.
Oh, the college. They have great muffins there, by the way. You should try them next time you swing by.
I haven't been there in a long time.
It's worth the trip, believe me.
But yes, as I said, we all have specialties, and apparently all of us are required for this. The Oracle has not told us more than that, which is why I want to make sure we have a place that we can meet her safely in.
And so, what you're saying is that this place needs fortifying to protect the Oracle so that she has a safe place to arrive.
Correct. Mainly magically, so we don't have prying eyes. Physically,
Okay.
fortifying it physically
That
means...
sounds like a
Yes? Oh, it sounds like a plan, yes.
that
Fort-
certainly seems like a higher priority than it did 5 minutes ago.
Well, physically, fortifying it physically is fine in terms of just creatures,
Would attract attention.
but it would attract attention. With
Right.
magical fortifications, it would be less obvious, more widespread, and make sure that
So,
other things don't notice us.
well, you all have your various specialities and fields of expertise, but so do we. Savant, you're a hunter, right?
Yeah.
So,
Hmm.
so forgive me if I'm misunderstanding the nature of your profession, but just because we fortify this place doesn't mean we have to do it in a visible way, right? I mean, you know, traps and like hunting hides and coercion and all of that kind of business, right?
Well, yes, I could certainly set up traps and mask the signature for animals. If you think like that, I could certainly
Well,
try to do that.
I was meaning like you know perhaps how to do things that won't get noticed.
To some degree, yes. It's,
So perhaps we can do more than just magic to make this place as safe as possible.
I could definitely set up some traps. That's something I could do.
And I'd be more than happy to help you in any way if I can. Seren, you're a military expert, right? Have you ever fought any
Some degree.
combat in a situation like this? I mean, what would be the best way if we were attacked again? What's the best way to utilize the terrain and the structures that we've got around us? I mean, we've got a basement, we've got cover, we've got. I mean, is there
Cover. We have
anything
high
we can do with
vantage
that?
points.
Perhaps we could put our collective heads together and we can come up with some stuff. I know Seraphina is pretty gnarly when it comes to making huge explosive fireballs and things. So perhaps we can chat people together. Ithelmore's downstairs, he knows his shit as well. Like Hawkstrad, you seem to be able to
Yes.
handle yourself in a fight. Do you have any military training?
I am as son of Lord Harkstrat, I have much training in the way of dealing with several ways of combat. Down here is not one of them, but I can definitely put it to use.
Well, if it's agreeable to all of you, then perhaps Seraphina, Hawkstrad, and Ithelmore, you could go find Ithelmore, put your heads together to analyze this place from a military perspective. Perhaps. No wait, what did I? Yeah, from like military perspective to channel things into spells and crossfires and all of that business. I'm sure Senegir and Savant can put their heads together on crafting some traps for us. I'm sure perhaps Aaron, would you like to, I don't know, make downstairs look presentable for the Oracle to arrive? That's your skill set, right? And I'm just gonna give him a shit-eating grin.
Yes, I'm good at making things presentable.
Hey!
Well, you managed it on you managed it on me in a friggin' fashion competition. So if you can do that, you can make anything presentable.
If we're talking about making sure it's clear, Daniela, I think you may be able to assist as well. I know your illusions are getting better. I can't cover the whole place, but I can cover the cellar.
Perfect.
If we could have a secret fallback place, that sounds very, very military and tacticy. That I like that.
Okay.
And actually, Seraphina, you studied the the ruins we found in the Emerald Sea better than anyone else. Perhaps you and Arctile, while the rest of us are working, would like to have a wee shifty at the ruins and see what you can do. You know, just keep an eye on Arctile and make sure he doesn't set up any stupid lights again.
He kind of narrows his eyes, just like, and then just shrugs.
I
It's
don't
like,
know. There's no dwarven hierarchy for him to tattle to.
This is true.
Which I still owe you a punch for that, but I'm busy. And just
Sorry?
walk off.
wait. What did Miss Seren mean by that?
She wants to punch you in the face.
Sorry, who was it? Arctile?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've not done a fantastic job of ingratiating yourself to us so far, although screwing up in embarrassing ways is a step in that direction.
Wait, I did something wrong.
The thing in the capital.
The situation with the dwarves getting our friend Ithelmore arrested as part of your scheming and machinations.
Oh, I thought you needed a way to get towards the king.
It worked out in the end, but we would have preferred to perhaps have been consulted in the planning stages rather than taken advantage of in such a way.
I actually, then I do need to apologize. I mean it no harm. It was meant to give you a non-biased way of making friends with the four charts.
As I said, it worked out for the best in the end, but in the future, perhaps we'd appreciate a bit more communication.
Well, I was making it more of a test of how you would deal in a circumstance.
And what you've learnt from that test is
You
such
did well.
circumstances make it's such circumstances make Seren inclined to punch people in the face, so you may want to be wary of that in future.
I'm aware that it can cause situations like that, yes. I'll make sure I don't do anything as rash to you all. It seems that you have done well, and you've proven yourself multiple times at this point now that you are capable and competent. And being down here is as much a showing of that as any. So
I'm just gonna give him like a little head nod bow thing, because that's about all that we need to say on that subject, I guess. And I've been introduced to Sechiko, right?
Yes. Who's just kind of like
So
eyeing
I know
everyone.
her name and stuff.
Yeah, no, you've already seen her, considering you guys were at the forward outpost towards the Tig.
Yeah, we met her with Arkansas before, so
Mhm.
I presume you're a druid from what I've witnessed.
How astute.
I have a passing familiarity with druids.
Mhm.
Perhaps you and Aaron could have a wee chat and, consider where your magical abilities overlap and might be helpful in some sort of way.
Darling. I can chat to both of you if you want to.
Sorry, I'll mute myself.
I'll just wander around and I might give Senegir and Savant a wee help with that, or
Arkan,
you
I do like them.
it's just you and Aaron maybe down in the basement having a chat, keeping an eye on the prisoner, maybe. That seems like a thing. And then I'm just gonna turn away and with my head scratching the back of my head so that my elbow hides my face.
She
I'm
gives
just gonna give
this
Aaron a massive wink.
the most haunty kind of smirk,
My face is not impressed.
and then kind of just eyes Aaron.
Ulan has absolutely no idea about that anything happens. He's just trying to be a man and do you a solid. Because she seems nice. She seems like your type. I don't know.
She's an animal. What?
I know, right?
Right.
Yeah. All right. Let's. Ulan's just gonna clap his hands together and say right, let's go team.
Right, that was a thing. Everyone, make sure not to make mistakes like I have. Let's make sure this is done well. We can figure out where we're going to investigate first when we're finished.
That sounds like a shrewd plan. Let's make sure the oracle's safe, and then we can go.
Ro, I would like you to make sure nothing notices us. We don't want to be watched while we do this. Sure. So then, you guys are going to start doing things, I'm presuming. Savant, you're going to start making traps. Did I hear correctly?
Yes.
Alright.
I presume everyone is okay with that, and that I've just not been a massive dick and told you all to do stuff.
You're sort of a leader anyway. So.
Okay, cool.
De facto leader. No one else wants to be a leader, so you're pushed to it.
Fair enough.
Alright, so Savant, you want to make traps. I'm going to assume Senator is going to help you in this.
I hope so.
Because Smith Bros.
I will.
Crafting
I'll
bros.
help
Crafting
with
bros.
that as well, because I've got wood crafting skills.
Okay. There isn't much in the way of wood down here, but sure, it can come in handy.
Not much metal anyway.
So, Savant, what are you going to try and make?
Snare traps, and I think if we have enough. Do we have enough weapon lying around?
We have some weapons in the bag of holding.
You have a number of weapons in the bag of holding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can see from the map, there's several entrance points, I guess you can call them. The back entrance, where the stairs are, is a little bit more compact, and there's only cracks in the wall, which makes it visible, which is a little straightforward. Actually, let me show a little bit more so you can actually see Um, and yaw to the there we go. And there. So you got the backside where the spiral staircase goes down, which is a chamber room, which is completely demolished with rocks that have collapsed inwards inside it, and the actual stairway that goes down. There's only one, maybe two actual cracks in the wall which you can see through. The largest one is the top one. This one up here, which is actually something you could actually just about pass through, medium sized. Then you got the two large ones at the top. One is that's covered by rubble. Another one which is attached to the, well, which would have been attached to the temple. And then obviously you've got the one down below. So there's a number of entrances. Some are more open than the others. So what are you going to try and make? Just wire traps, did you say?
Snare traps and swing traps, you know, for, you know, in dungeons you have the weapon swing, basically like that.
That's
Have, like,
You need to
basically
have
you
a
would
ceiling
start
to attach a swing trap. Or are you going to attach it to the floor?
You can technically do it on the walls. We did something similar in the scouts.
You could,
I
yeah.
need to say this for legal reason. I did not kill anyone by having an axe swinging or something. I may have been kicked out of the scouts for doing this, but
Obviously,
Are you
it's going to be
able
quite
set up
visible.
Any kind of subtle, like, warning thing? So, like, not something that makes a big loud noise, but like, I don't know if I can help out with some druid craft in terms of like making tripwires and that kind of business. But to like, so that if people come in, we know.
yeah, that could be done. Basically, have like a thin wire that then
A jingle.
lead. Yeah, like a small that would then shingle go have like a small wire that would be cut off by someone's foot, and then have a small like bell or something, or a helmet if I have. Basically, be dropped inside of our hiding hole. So people inside there would be here, but it would not be that loud outside.
Oh, sweet! Like the bells that you have to ring for servants in a like fancy house, where
Yes.
if the bell rings standing. Yeah, cool. I like that idea.
And then basically snare traps for people when they get very close to have snare traps.
Oh wait,
We
never
could not-
mind. Oh, it's a little larger than I expected. Okay.
Oh boy.
Oh, you guys.
I'm sorry, I've been holding on so long because you said backside earlier as well, and I was like, no.
Over here, I really want to. I don't know if we should put a snare trap there, or we should actually try to do like basically have like an axe weighing on this side, and when they step over and trip it over, what's holding it up will drop down and hopefully hit the person, and also have a snare trap that at the same time.
You mean swing? Yeah.
Yeah, like it would swing down on someone.
That could be easy enough to make if you have an axe.
I think we have an axe. We do otherwise have those two great swords we can use for that.
That's true.
That's pretty
We've
heavy.
got,
Yeah, have those two great sword basically be like, you know, when in every movie ever in fantasy where you're not allowed to go here, two weapons that way. Do that. Go from both sides. Because that's our most vulnerable to someone to sneak up on us. You could also just go over the walls, technically. But that's harder to defend.
Since we, I'm
It
guessing
looks like I have
the
enough time to make
armor.
a cabinet over the entire thing.
I'm guessing the armor from the people with the great swords isn't burnt or anything. So we can harvest that for like.
It's damaged
like-
now that it wasn't magical.
But we can use the helmets to make the clanging noise and stuff. That's the kind. That's
Oh yeah, yeah. You can strip it pretty easily.
Stuff, yeah.
And basically have extreme thin wire from every like this and.
Okay.
I'm thinking we only need it to be self-triggering once, right? We don't need them to be individual. But
Yeah,
we
we
want a
need to
system
know
where we
if,
could.
if someone's coming, it's not like a
Do we not want to
Okay.
know which side they're coming from? Because that would be harder, because that would be more wire. So do we have one central wire, basically? That is, like, if
Well, no, it
anyone
would,
goes
it
off...
would actually it'd be easier to have it from different places because then the wires don't need to connect together.
And it doesn't have to be as long because it's how much wire do you even have?
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
the thing is...
do we need wire or can I like druid craft like a spider silk type or like a little vine? Or
Also, we
something?
can defred rope. And then you have way more than 50 feet of it. 50 feet turns into 500 feet about.
Oh, threading from the rope. Yeah, you could probably do
Yeah.
that actually. Yeah.
Yeah. A defred a rope to make it very thin, non-noticeable, and weaker. That's right.
Okay, so you're going to make a swing trap with an axe, wire traps on most of the large entrances, from what I'm hearing, and then a snare trap.
Yeah, snare trap. I think here,
Do we-
if we can do
Yeah,
that.
we have a battle axe, don't we? Yeah. So I will remove the battle axe from the bag of holding.
We also have hand axes, but sure. Okay, so just give me.
We have hand axes.
Well,
I have hand.
yeah.
Oh,
have
you
two
mean
hand
you
axes.
have like hand axes in your inventory? No, we'll just use the battle axe that we picked up
Yeah.
because it's a shitty regular battle axe.
Okay. Yeah, Ulan can help with these. So yeah, do all three of them with advantage. Tinkering checks. Seven. Death.
Actually, using Tinker's tool for what is meant to be used for.
As you see that Daniela is channeling a spell for quite a number of minutes in front of the spiral staircase. 18, 14, 25. Okay. So 14 was the wire, which, yeah, the DCs are low for that. So yeah, all of them are incorporated. Incorporated? Wow. Wow. Incorporated flawlessly. Give me actually, you don't even need to because it's part of your ranger thing. Hide and plain sight.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, with some extra couple minutes, you make sure that that they're obscured in various places, that the rocks are placed to cover parts of the rope that have been slightly thicker than others to make sure it seems more natural. As there's so much rubble that's useful. You even use some of the mushrooms as kind of a obscurement for the wiring as well. And all three components seem perfectly normal.
Of course, I will notice to everyone so they don't trigger the system.
Yes, you could probably make it easy enough that
Yes.
you can put a marking or something on your side.
No,
to-
I will literally walk up with everyone. Like, here's a trap. Don't
Okay.
It's way easier to do it that way than check for a red
Can
mark on the
I?
ground.
Well, yeah, but can I like druid craft some like a little red mushroom or something by it that looks like it
Yeah,
belongs?
with the spores down here, yeah, you can totally make a mushroom.
Yeah.
You're just gonna put
So
like a little
I'll
red
do that,
mushroom.
so, like,
Okay.
yeah, just as like a little subtle reminder so that we know if there's a red mushroom, be careful, there's a trap nearby, but
Okay.
it won't notice us.
Are you going to use natural red mushrooms from up top, or are you going to use the red mushrooms from down here, which are luminescent?
I will try and make it look like it belongs in the Underdark, yeah.
Okay. With that, Daniela finally finishes a spell of hallucinatory terrain, which I read is actually slightly larger than I expected, and it's a 150-foot cube, which is basically
Wow.
the entirety of the temple, or this ruin.
So I wouldn't need to hide
Wait,
my
so we
traps.
didn't
They would
even
be
need to hide
hidden
the
anywhere.
traps?
She underestimated her own spell, as did the DM. And she basically just doesn't change anything drastically, just makes it seem exactly as it was, as just a downtrodden ruin.
So it like hides the body pile and all.
It hides the body pile, the markings, the scorch marks, the traps even more than previous, and specifically covers up the steps leading into the cellar or underground chamber.
There are no longer any steps there.
That is just flat dirt and ground and rocks.
People step down.
Amazing.
Plop.
You have to make an intelligence check to make sure you find it.
Oh well, that's not.
Are we able to put any of Ulan's little mushrooms for it?
She can make one appear there, so yes, she puts 2 markings to signify where these stairs start.
Damn it, Owen! I was just thinking that as well.
Suddenly, there's nothing.
Technically, it does because it's hallucinatory over the top of what's naturally there, but she marks the ones that you've already put there into her own image.
Okay, good.
So yours exist in both the natural world as well as the illusion.
So basically, even if people could have true sight and be able to see, like, oh, there's a mushroom there.
Yep, there's a mushroom there. And that will last for 24 hours.
Okay.
Nice.
The illusionary really is
Oh,
amazing. You're like, oh, this entire cavern, like, is not here.
it's not here. Oh, that was, I didn't expect that.
Very well done.
Well, I'm certainly sure my traps won't be found.
Yeah. Seraphine, you went over to the ruin itself. As you've looked over, you've seen this before. You've seen pretty much exactly the same sort of design. You've seen the murals across the wall with the carvings into it of the various types of magic that seem to be traveling across in the direction of this central concave. In the center is very different, however. Everything is very much more damaged from either erosion or from damage from the rocks falling down onto this place. However, you do notice very obviously this orb that's been placed on a pedestal in the center of this concave. It's not very large. It's only about a foot wide in diameter. But the stark difference is its presentation in comparison to everything around this ruin. Everything else is very damaged. It's moss-ridden. There's growth all over. There's cracks. There's damages. This is pristine across the entire surface of this sphere.
Is it resting on a pedestal?
Yes, it is. And as you approach, and Arkan's just staring at it, this is the reason I was caught. And as you get close to it, to about 10 feet, you can actually see there's shifting in it. Give me give me a perception check. That would be hilarious.
Almost took performance.
15. Okay. As you look onto this sphere, you can see several almost waves of almost like smoke or liquid that seem to pass over the surface of the orb and float back into it and are overlapped, of various different colors. Again, very similar to what you've just seen above in the Titan Steps. This is one of the main reasons I wanted to stay here. This is impressive.
Maybe Booker would know more.
Hmm.
It does, well, remind me of what happened in the Titan Steps. Just, but it does not seem to be the same.
Right. I'll speak to him while we
It has
prepare.
something to do with Sun Elves, so
Yes, that was my query about these ruins as well. The question being, why would Sun Elves be down here? And what connection do they have? Yes, I will ask Booker about this. He's definitely more adept at these sorts of things than I, unfortunately.
by
Is
now
that-
I have the question kind of like, where haven't the Sun Elves been?
As all of you have kind of finished, who was keeping an eye out? Was it for more?
If a more, I
Guard
thought was.
prisoner.
Oh yeah, you're down with the prisoner. Seren, where did you go?
I'm just up keeping an eye on things. Since
Okay.
We hadn't quite gotten to the. I mean, not that there needs to be much. I don't know.
Then yes, you can give me another perception check as well then, in that case.
I guess Hawkstrand is as well, right?
Yeah, Hawkstrider is definitely keeping an eye out. He was actually kind of off to a corner with his eyes closed for a couple of minutes, and then began doing a
Good
perimeter.
job keeping an eye out, dude.
Nice. He began doing a perimeter as well, and you noticed while you were working, the glimpse of his eyes again were glowing. Which I should do one for him as well. Okay. Yeah, so you, as the hallucinatory train comes up, and you've been keeping an eye out for anything odd, you don't see any movement across the ground. You do see the flying creatures and the whatever these insects things are that have been kind of buzzing around above the area seem to have just dispersed into the rest of the cavern. And it's definitely a lot quieter. You still hear them in the distance with just the odd screeching coming from off in the distance, but they don't seem to be traveling in this area anymore.
Interesting. Okay. Because the hallucinatory terrain covered the body pile, so it's no longer detectable by the animals. Right?
Pretty much.
Alright.
From what you can tell, yeah. Now that you look around, it looks exactly like it was when you arrived, just without any bodies.
Okay.
As you all regroup, actually, yeah, let's do a quick break now, actually. And we'll come back to you guys doing something.